So this is my first vlog. What I thought I would do is do some videos whilst I'm painting, just chat about anything. It would have been nice to do it from the start of a painting, but I'm quite a bit of a way into one. I'm currently doing Marilyn Monroe for it's actually for my niece Ronnie's birthday, which was on the 5th of January, so I'm running a little bit behind. But yeah, there's certain things that I would have liked to do in life that I haven't. And I always thought about stand-up comedy, just because I like making people laugh. But I don't think I would have the guts to get up on stage and do it, so this isn't a comedy thing, although it might entertain some. So I thought I'll do a vlog and talk about some stuff that's been in my life or whatever at any point, and who knows where the conversation will go, because I'm 50, so that's 50 years to talk about. Right, so I'm just putting some paint on my palette, just the black and white, because I'm doing this in black and white. I did another pose of Marilyn, probably the same sort of photo shoot, would have been the same, which I've done a few paintings of. So I thought I'd go for a different pose this time, a different photo, which I'm copying from, which I need my iPad. I first started painting, doing sketches, actually, portrait sketches. And a few years ago when I lived in Plymouth, we used to, I've been to see the Chippendales a few times. Girls from work, we would go. I remember one girl, she got this coach trip ready, prepared for us to go. We went down to Cornwall Coliseum the first time, and I'd never been to anything like that before. And I think they said on the way down something about, oh, you know, they pick out big women and stuff. So I was like, right, well, I'm sitting in the middle of the row. And when we got down to there, the show was brilliant. Anyway, half time, I could see them at some blokes at the side of the station. They were pointing to our row. And one of the girls said, they're pointing to us, they're pointing to us. Anyway, next bit comes on after the break interval. They come down, come right to our row, pinpoint me, take me up on stage. Oh my God. I got tied to a chair with all sorts done to me on the stage. Had to be. I come back there, and then I bought their calendar and stuff, and it made me want to draw, because they were very nice to look at. But I liked drawing the body form, and because they were quite muscly and that, so that got me into sketching. And from there we went on, I used to go on and do other bits, like photos of me baby nieces and things. But I did the Chippendale ones I sent to my favourite one, So Sad. And anyway, when next time they came to a show, I took some with me to get them to sign them. And he was like, oh my God, I've got that on my dressing room door. I didn't know who it was from and all this. And I got some tickets to the London show. So that was good. And again, I think I saw them 3 or 4 times. Every time I got pulled up onto stage. Every single time. No matter where I was sat. It was like they just zoomed in on me. Knew I was game for a laugh, I expect. I was quite up for it. I'm not complaining, mind. So, yeah, so that's what really started my painting. I've not done anything since I've been talking to you. You're going to think I'm a total fake that I don't actually do them. But I'm trying to get me iPad to stand up with my picture on. So yeah, they were fun days. Going, I remember once we stayed behind, I think it was with my sister Jo, we went to see them in Plymouth. Or was it Tammy? I can't remember, one of us. And we went backstage after, and we were trying to get invited back to the party, but we didn't. I think Jo did. No, she didn't go. I think she got invited, but we didn't go. Where's my bloody picture? So I'll just waffle on as I always do. Right, so this is the picture I'm going off. So it's nearly there. I've sort of near enough done the bottom half. I'm going to be working on the top bit now, on her face a bit more, and it scares me doing the face, because obviously that's what's going to make her recognisable, and at the moment I quite like it, but there's a lot that needs doing to it, and with one little stroke I can mess it all up, but we're not going to do that today. Certainly not going to have a big black line there. So what else can I talk about? So obviously at the moment with the whole COVID thing going on, I'm back to work out at Buckfast now, after 15 or 16 years at Huckabees. I've left, which was quite strange for me to do, and I wasn't going to go back to retail, but Lorraine asked if I'd do a few hours out at Buckfast, and it was quite a good little move for me, because it means I can still paint, and hours a bit more sociable. Waffling, don't need to be saying all that. So I got a week off this week, and thought I would get on and do some more painting, and whilst I'm doing it, have a go at this vlogging lark. I'm thinking it's not going to be as easy as I thought to paint and talk at the same time, which is mad because I can talk when Paige is here when I'm painting. So yeah, stand-up comedy. I would love to just, get on a stage and everyone laughing and having a good time, and but not telling jokes as such, just so that's why it wouldn't really work, because I'm just not a joke teller. I can never remember a bloody joke ever, and I'm not quick enough to think on my feet, as you can see, just fill an hour or so of me deciding what to talk about. Glasses always helps. So I suppose it's the whole embarrassment thing to get up there and freeze and not have anything to say. Then it's that embarrassment thing that we're all afraid of. I don't know why, because I do enough to embarrass myself on a daily basis. My most embarrassing moment. What could that be? God, there's so many. I do remember when I was working at the hospital in Torbay, I used to work on Cheetham Hill ward, which was for the elderly. Loved it. And every now and then you get new intern doctors on your ward. And I remember one particular day, it was the new all the new young doctors, they're all very keen, and they were young and naive. Anyway, we had the emergency call got pulled. Someone was in cardiac arrest. So you just go into what you know, and we had the resus trolley there, and one of the young new doctors was very, on board, and he sort of said to me, I was sort of just stood there passing things out as they needed them, and he went, pen. So I took my pen out of my top pocket and handed it to him, and he handed it right back, and he said, it doesn't work. And when I looked down, I'd handed him a bloody tampon. Not a bloody tampon. No, I'd handed him a tampon that was wrapped. But that was embarrassing enough. But the great thing was is he didn't say anything. I just handed him the pen, and then once it had all calmed down, and we were sort of just debriefing afterwards, and we had quite a laugh about it then. Became quite good friends. I can't remember what he was called. Alistair something. Can't remember his last name. Anyway, he was a good laugh. But yeah, I'm doing everything but the actual face because it scares the hell out of me. Noses. Don't like doing noses. Usually you have to turn it upside down to do the nose, so that you're actually painting what you're copying, not what you think it should look like. Good tip there. So, amongst all of this lockdown malarkey and all that, I've started going through the menopause. That's fun. I used to be so organised, so on top of the game. Now I can go up and down the stairs 10 times. Still not remember what I went down for in the first place. But I mean, it used to infuriate me. Tammy, my sister, was the most ditzy person you could meet. She always left her phone, her purse, whatever, forever looking for them, always forgetting them, usually got them back in the end. But and I used to think, God, how can you live like that? Now I know, because I have no choice. I have to, and it's very, very annoying. I'm sure that's the worst thing of it for me. I haven't really flushed as such yet. Probably got that delight to come. But isn't it lovely what us women have to go through? And I've also got the grey embraced again. Can't get my hair done. And can't decide what I want to do with it, whether I just let it go grey now, or I mean, I started going grey at 14, something like that. And my dad used to always say, the bakers don't go grey, they go silver. If ever I informed him that he was going grey. So I now find myself saying, bakers don't go grey, we go silver. Oh dear, don't have to talk such rubbish. What else can I talk about? Oh, so Captain Tom died. Very sad about that. Very sad. But what a bloody exit he had, eh? Was it 33 million or something he raised? I mean, I'm sure he didn't imagine in the slightest that that would happen. But that's the wonder of social media now. You can be a star from your own backyard. from your bedroom. Who knows? It's not going to happen. But the worst thing I think about this whole COVID thing is you can't have the funerals. I mean, you think some big characters, big national treasures as they call them, have died. You imagine like Sean Connery's funeral would have been massive. Everybody would have been there. They can't. And as far as I'm concerned, Captain Tom should have a state funeral. That's not going to happen. But I think, once we can, saying this last night, that they should declare a day of life celebration when we can all celebrate all those that have the life of those who have gone during this horrible time. I hate the thought of, somebody dear to me, because there's such a comfort I found in seeing at my dad's and at Tammy's, seeing all these people who take time out of their day to come and honour the person that you've loved, that you're burying or whatever, cremating, whatever. I found that a huge comfort, especially at my dad's. I mean, Tammy was a young person, so you imagine that there would be quite a few there. But my dad, there were so many different walks of life at his funeral, from all walks of life as well. Did I just say that? So, yeah, that's the awful thing now, is that you cannot give our loved ones the send-off that they truly deserve. So I hope after all this there's some way of acknowledging that or doing that. I mean, God, we've got so many parties to catch up. Last year we had Paige's 21st, Dave's 70th, my 50th. We've not had our usual Christmas party, and so we've got all these things to catch up on. Paige and Dave sort of managed to celebrate theirs. Mine was a bit of a non-plus, but I'm not that bothered about that because I don't think it's really something that I'm up for celebrating yet. I'm just putting lots of paint down, just layering up layers, because I mean it sort of looked almost finished on the camera, but it is nowhere near. Lots to do on the hair and head and face. I don't know why I like painting Marilyn Monroe so much. I suppose she was just a beautiful figure. I remember when I was sketching her, it was always difficult because she was so flawless that it was hard not to make her look older, or I don't know, there was one of my Marilyn paintings in the radiotherapy unit at Torbay. I don't imagine it's still there now, but when Dad had had all his chemo, when he finished radiotherapy, I wanted to give them something, so he asked me to do a painting for him, and they put it up on the wall, which was nice. What else? It's really not, I'm not in the right light. I usually have my curtain open. I'm sat here opposite is the park, and I think people probably see me sat up here. I'm going to be known as the old woman who sits in her window painting. I'm okay with that. What else to talk about? See, there's no way on earth that I could be a stand-up comic. So we'll tick that one off as something I cannot do. But maybe I'll just go to an open mic one night if they ever return and get up and just stand and make a dick of myself, and that'll be that. That'll be ticked off my bucket list. Don't really have a bucket list as such. Just like to get as much done in my time here as possible. I haven't really travelled as such. Went to Monte Carlo when I was 18 with my partner in crime, Michelle, dressed in our full glory goth gear to Monte Carlo. This is in, so what were we, 1988, 88, 80, probably 89. And her mum won these tickets to Monte Carlo for a weekend. So me and Shell, she gave them to us. And it was quite an experience. One I wouldn't particularly want to do again. Michelle had the problem of her ticket was in the name of Flood, but her passport was in the name of Woodgates, and didn't know if that was actually going to be allowed. So didn't notice it till the day before we were meant to go. Tried to get it all sorted. No, couldn't do it. Ended up going up on the train, sleeping in the airport overnight so that the next morning we could try and get it sorted. Jackie, Shell's mum, had wrote a letter. This is how times have changed, saying that she was who she was, and that the confusion was because of Jackie remarrying and all this, and off we went to the desk, and the woman there said, "Oh no, you're not allowed, we can't really do anything about that." And I think one of us said, you know, well, do they actually have a look at the tickets at the same time? Ticket and the passport at the same time? And the woman, I mean, she sort of said, well, not often, but you didn't hear that from me. She said, what I will say is that I will pretend that I've not seen you. So we couldn't decide anyway. We waited till the very last minute and decided that we'd go for it, which was quite good because they rushed us through because it was so late and they didn't really check the tickets as such. So we got on the flight, and a huge relief that we hadn't been carted away as the villains that we were. And I'd never been on a jet plane. Did not like that at all. Absolutely nearly had a full-on panic attack. Shell thought it was highly hilarious. And we fly into Nice airport, which the runway goes out to sea. So as we're banking in, I thought that we were going in the bloody sea. It was terrible. I absolutely shit myself. And yeah, so we then had the taxi drive from hell, going over all the mountains. It was like something out of bloody Herbie. How we made it, I don't know. And then we get there and they ask, we're in a 5-star hotel, full on goths, hair spike, jewellery, all black. And then they asked for our passports. So went into a bit of panic mode again then. But apparently it's just something that they do at hotels, we didn't know. And then over the weekend we tried to go to the main casino, wouldn't let us in there because of the way we looked. didn't end up going in the casinos at all. I think we got offered some money whilst we were stood debating. Could have made a fortune, I reckon. Yeah, so I think they thought we were hookers. And I remember one woman was walking along with her poodles along the pavement and literally saw us coming, and she sort of just stopped and did a so funny. Yeah, we went into Italy for the day, and had some old man offering to take me to Rome. Shell was like, Donna, move it, you're not going to Rome. I've always wanted to go to Rome. That's on my bucket list, Rome. I would like to do a bit of a Shirley Valentine and go on my own and just go and see what I want to see, when do it all at my pace. That one needs to be a lot whiter on this side. I just think it's a beautiful thing, and I just love the Italian language, and one day, I've saved up a few times for it, but then something always happens, like last time I ended up moving to Ireland instead. Loved it there. Went on a 2-week holiday, took my mum's mum, over. She used to live there when we were kids, and she was starting to get dementia quite bad. So before it was too late, wanted to get her back over to see the fam. They took in a lot of youngsters when they lived there, our granddad, so they were starting to grow up and have families of their own, and they all kept in touch, so it would be nice to get her back over and see them, which we did. Had a fantastic 2 weeks. My gran in her 80s, driving over the Kerry Mountains with Guns N' Roses blasting in the stereo and her singing along. Best moment of my life. It was just so cool, and I just fell in love with the place in 2 weeks. It was so much going on. They had the town, each town had a festival going on, and the Skibbereen Festival and everything, and it was just such a great time, and I made so many friends in 2 weeks. And I was living in Plymouth at the time. I'd been living there for, I don't know, a couple of years, and I'd made more friends in that 2 weeks over there than I had in the time living in Plymouth. And I just fell in love with the place. I came back and decided, give up my job, give up my flat, and off I went. In me little metro that I spent my money on to go over in, decided that I'd buy myself a nice car. When I say nice car, I mean, of course, it had a nice stereo and that it looked pretty, but as far as mechanically, it made no difference to me until only a few days later something went quite wrong. I don't know, head gasket or something. My cousin sort of botched it up to get me over to Ireland, so I was packed up to the roof with all my stuff and did the whole big goodbye at Fairlawn Close and waved everyone goodbye, and I was tears. Mum was crying, Dad was crying, Tammy was crying, everybody was there. Off I went, and then I think I got onto the dual carriageway at Dartbridge and realised that I didn't have my sunglasses, so I had to go back and do it all again. It was quite funny. I come back tooting all the way. I'm not going, I can't go. Their faces was like, what the hell? Get her out of here. Yeah, anyway, then I got off. Got the ferry from Swansea over. And had a very lovely time there. I'd probably still be there now. Well, maybe not now, but met an Irishman who wanted to move over here, and then that was that. But oh God, we had some laughs there. Rural. I mean, I thought Buckford was rural until you get over there and realise it was a whole another life again. So innocent. It was like going back 20 years or whatever. And I remember when I finally got my place and it had an open fire, so excited. Off I went to the garage. It was a huge fireplace. And I mean, the chimney, you could sort of stand underneath, look up the chimney and everything. And yeah, I got so excited. Off I went to the garage to go and get all my sticks and logs, and I knew that they used peat in Ireland on the fire, and so I went to the garage and bought this stuff, came back, put it all on, and I'd never lit a fire before, so I wasn't entirely sure, and I was not been seeing Peter all that long, and then I lit it and it just wouldn't work, so I phoned Peter and said, can you come over and help? And he come in and he literally peed himself laughing. He's like, what the hell is this? So what I had done is I had put me paper in, and then my kindling, and then some coal, and then the peat, and then the firelighters. So you had firelighters sat on the top. Don't know why I thought that would work. And he's like, what's all this? And I'd bought peat moss for the garden, which is just like garden soil basically. And I'd pour that on. You're actually meant to buy these peat briquette things. I didn't know, did I? Bloody idiot. Yeah, so I got that sorted. Oh, gosh. And then everything was, I mean, my car, my Metro, which went for a long time because the mechanic there had been a friend of my grandfather's, and he was a wonder at botching things, getting to keep them going rather than fixing it. So he had sort of, I don't know what he'd done on me Metro, but then my route to work, I used to have to go these back roads, and there was like a little hump bridge, so I used to hit the bridge and like and carry on driving because it would be early in the morning. But I don't know what happened. Some of the axle or something on my back wheel had snapped. On my back wheel sort of, there's one, and the other one was sort of slightly slanted like that. It was never roadworthy. Used to go along, and then I was in the pub one night, and a friend introduced me to a chap, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you got the little brown Metro, haven't you?" I said, "Yeah, that's me." And he said, "Yeah, I'm the local customs officer. I suggest you get that off the road, because we are on to you." So, bless him. I've been there a long time and hadn't registered it or anything. Things we used to do. I never do anything like that now. I wouldn't have I would be constantly living in fear. But you just don't have that fear when you're younger. Nothing's ever gonna happen to you, I suppose. I don't know, when that changes, just as you get older. I suppose when you experience loss, that changes things. Definitely. But this is not really coming along much at all. Well, it is. But do some more there. Remember another time in Ireland, I was in a different house then, and outside there was like sort of little bit of gravel, pebbles and stuff. And then there was a little wall with 2 steps up, and then you were on the road. So I don't know, it was probably about a 6 foot between the road and the door. And it was the main route from Cork into Skibbereen. And it was quite a busy little road, but it didn't really bother me or anything. Anyway, Peter was taking me into Skibbereen to go and do my laundry. And he drove this Land Rover, which, again, running like a bodge job, had no handbrake, didn't work, and the starter didn't work. So you had to park it on a hill to be able to start it, but you didn't have a handbrake, so we had these blocks that I used to put in under the wheel. Well, we come to pick me up, and he parked the Land Rover outside the house, and I could see he parked it there, and he'd left it running so that because it was flat, and he turned the wheels so that it wouldn't move from where it was. So he come running in to collect me, and I'm getting my stuff together, and I look out the window and I see the bloody Land Rover go past the window. And it literally, because he had turned it, it turned and sort of went back over the road, opposite, goes across the road, backwards, down into a ditch where there's like a little brook. I mean, how there was no cars coming, I don't know. Funny now, it could have been a disaster. But anyway, Peter's, oh my god. So he goes over, the back end of it's right down in this ditch, 5-6 foot down in. There's no way you can drive it out. So he says, go down to there's a building site down there, and get him to come up with a tractor to pull him out. So off I goes down the road. There's this work site, they're building some new houses. So I go in, I says to the bloke, have possibly one of you come up with your tractor to pull them out? Oh, sure, yeah, sure. So they haven't got a tractor, but they've got a digger. So I'm stood on the footwell of the digger as he's driving it, and we're coming up the road, and I'm like bloody with on me digger. Come in, and ended up putting a chain or something around it, and was able to lift out the back end. But only in Ireland, I tell you, you wouldn't be able to do things like that here. I mean, you probably can't do it in Ireland now, but back then, 1992, I think it was, 293, something like that. Best years of my life. You'd have... I remember there was rumour that Van Morrison was going to play at the Skibbereen Festival. And Paddy McDermott, God rest his soul, said, if Van Morrison plays at Skibbereen Festival, I'll shave my beard off. And he had one of these really long, I mean, nobody'd ever seen him without a beard. And of course, he played. So he goes, I go walk into Conley's, and there's a bloke sat at the bar that nobody knew. I literally stood next to him, and he was like, you're not going to say hello then? I was like, oh my God, Paddy. And we just watched all these people coming in. He'd lived there all his life, and nobody was recognising him. It was brilliant. Don't think his wife Tony liked it. He had to grow it back anyway. They were such good people. Such good people. Both gone. But gone too soon. No, a lot of them. Which... am I faffing too much, I think, with the hair. But it's got to be done. It's different. bits on the end with a lighter. Going back to the Monte Carlo thing, with our goth dress, I had these black, sounds hideous, but I had these black sandals, and they'd like little studs on them. I loved them, but they were open-toed and couldn't possibly have bare legs, so I used to wear these thick black tights. But because I was bigger, I had to get bigger tights to fit my legs. But then they'd be like this too long. They just have all this bloody bit of tight left at the bottom. So what I used to do is fold it up and like put it underneath my foot. So there, and we were still waiting for the changing of the guard at Monaco Palace. And I said to Joe, what the hell is everybody looking at? I said, they're all looking at us. I said, you know, I know we look a bit different. And I said, well, they're all looking at our feet. And I just stood there and I couldn't look down. I said to Shreya, oh my God. I said, please look down and tell me that my tights aren't hanging out the side of my sandals. Mortified. They weren't, as it happens, but the image of it stood there. She's wetting herself. Not that funny really, but it had to be there. Oh, dearie me, this is struggling with this. Right, so that is a curl coming from there. Trying to give the illusion of curls, but it's quite difficult. What I would like to do is have the confidence to have a go. I've got 3 beautiful nieces, well, adult nieces, so I'd like Stacey, Ronnie and Paige with black and white photos, and I'd like to try and do this sort of style of them, so I'll ask them. They make me laugh because they'll take photos, not so much Stacey, but the other 2 take photos of themselves all the time, but ask for a photo with them or of them and they suddenly go camera shy. These youngsters, it's a whole different generation, and I'm learning now with being in shutdown and being with Paige all the time. Our generation, maybe that's something I'll talk about in my next video, because the generation gap is so massive, and I always thought that I was quite switched on for like technology and stuff, but now, I mean, it's all going beyond me even. But the way they think and their attitude to life is a whole different world to what I've always been brought up to believe or to do and stuff. And they just have this I don't know, this confidence or this self-worth that seems so unbelievable, yet they're all suffering with such mental health problems. And I just don't know, I think you're such brilliant kids. Why do you not believe in yourself the way that you portray? You do. Social media obviously comes into it. It's something that has to answer for a lot of things. I believe social media is a wonderful thing when used properly. Obviously it has its bad sides, but I think all in all, I don't see it as a bad thing. I don't go on Facebook much these days. I might check my notifications, see if anybody's, you know, messaged me or had something to say and then might look through the news feed, see if there's anything exciting happening. But the days of sitting there just, I mean, I'm a people watcher, so Facebook was like the technology version of it, which was great. But oh my god, hours have passed and you've been sat there watching, reading about what people have for their dinner and stuff like that. It's amazing what we find entertaining now. I never thought I could sit and watch a programme of people watching telly. But I love Gogglebox. I mean, what's that all about? It's mental what we... and I don't know if we've all got this impatience now of wanting things so quickly and immediately. I mean, the thought of having to watch wait a whole week for another episode of your favourite series is alien. Just wait until they're all out and watch them all together. And find another 2 weeks of your life have just gone by and you haven't left your bloody room. Which is one reason why I had just really felt like I need to get back to work, because I'd quite happily just live in my little room here. So I've got me painting, I've got me Netflix or whatever on telly, or me players and everything. I'm quite happy. But then I do, I'm okay in my own company. Those people who aren't, and I'm very fortunate in that I live with, unfortunate, I don't know, live with Paige, who is the person I'm most close to, and Mum and Dave. So, a lot of the people that are most dear to me, I live with, so I see them all the time. Want to kill them most of the time as well. Me and Mum struggle sometimes because if I'm in a snappy one today, I knew I was coming across aggressive the way I was talking. I wasn't feeling aggressive, and the more I was trying to tell that I wasn't being aggressive, the more aggressive I sounded. And I was like, just shut up, Donna. Stop talking. That's what you need to do. Stop talking. But that's the menopause. And I struggle with that because I've never really... I don't think I've never really been a person who stays in a bad mood or is in a bad mood or anything like that. That's just not me. So to suddenly have these sort of feelings, it's not nice. Don't like it. Don't like it. And that's the main thing I struggle with it really, is that it's changing my person. I mean, it doesn't, but it appears to, This whole... If people didn't know me and I'm having a grouchy day, they're going to think, oh, she's a right miserable cow. And that, I don't like. I don't like people to think of me like that. Which is probably more telling than anything of something, but I'm sure psychologists would have a field day with me. So I tried hypnotherapy last year. I've tried everything for my weight loss. I know every diet there is, and I know how to do it. I know all the exercises. I could probably teach everybody Zumba. I could teach this with my bloody eyes closed. Doesn't mean I'm going to do any of it, of course, because I'm just useless like that. And now, as I'm older, as I'm getting older, when I reached 50, it was suddenly like, shit, it's all downhill now. This is it. This isn't a game anymore. And suddenly realise how short life is going to be, and get all these great plans, and I just don't stick to them. I just can't. I don't know what it is. I block myself. It's like painting. This has been sat here for weeks, months. waiting for me to get on with it. And I would do everything, but even stuff I don't like doing, I'll do to avoid doing it. I just block myself on everything. I don't know why I do that. Answers on a postcard, please. I'm sure there's reasons behind it all, but you drive yourself mad looking into it. Just accept it. That's my great motto in life. Just go with the flow, let it be, and see what happens. It's all going to be alright in the end, I hope. Not always the case, of course, but we still get through it. That's the thing. That's totally wrong. So I don't know how long have I been talking? Christ, I've been talking for 51 minutes. Don't know what I'll do, probably edit it all out and not do anything with it, but let's see, shall we? God, it's really not coming along how I would like, really. So that's dark there. It's got a dark bit. There's a few dark bits in there. I feel like Rolf, or no, what's it called? Bob Ross. Well, I seem to have run out of things to say. Shall we leave it there for today? I don't know how often I'll do this, but I don't really know what it's for. It's a vlog. What are vlogs anyway? Isn't it a diary? I haven't done anything sort of diary-wise. Just so you look at. So I know it doesn't really look any different to how it was. I've just done a bit on the hair. I've got a lot to work on the face. Of course, I can't put this video on until I finish because Ron and Shay will see it. And it's her birthday present. She doesn't know what I'm doing. She might get it next year for her birthday. So long, over and out.